Much has already been said about the Matrix, of its allegories and hidden messages. Although we don't believe that we live in a simulation, many people use quotes such as "wake up from the Matrix" or "take the red pill" frequently. Ancient philosophers have proposed the idea that we could live in a false reality, manipulated by a system that we cannot see. The Matrix brought this idea to life and popularized it in our culture. We live in the shadows, and what we think of as the light is only a reflection of said shadows. Allegories for religion, specifically Christianity, and the concept of the Savior and other human beliefs try to tell us that they are all a part of the Matrix. If we are a part of this control made by the system that we try to destroy, will you take the pill that shows you that the red pill is actually part of said system? Welcome to Matrix Explained, and today we're going to take a look yet again at the philosophy behind the Matrix.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
The first Matrix film proved that action sci-fi films are capable of complex storytelling. Deep and profound, the idea that humanity lives in a simulation, that everything we know is nothing but a false reality that machines have imposed on us. This led us to question our own reality, and if we actually live in a facade. Could it be possible that we are being controlled by a force we cannot see? The Matrix could actually refer to other forms of public control, not necessarily a computer simulation, but rather a system that we see daily but do not realize it, like the economy, politics, and religion. Being in the Matrix is a living trapped in a false reality, being manipulated by those who fear of losing power and who want to maintain it by blindfolding the public from reality. Watching the news and political propaganda, we can see that reality often does not match with what we see in our world. It is as if they are trying to create an alternate reality. In those moments, we can perceive that there is something odd in the world, that someone or something is trying to manipulate our perception of reality. Taking the red pill is understanding that the reality as we perceive it is false, that our leaders or rulers have been lying to us, while at the same time, they have created a system to instigate us into fighting back, to wake up from the Matrix and take the red pill, to awaken others into joining our cause of resistance. Well, that is what the first movie tries to tell anyway. However, the Matrix philosophy goes a different direction in the sequels. The Matrix 2 and 3 completely derails what is proposed in the first movie. It destroys the concept of awakening and the hopes of the resistance against its system. It's for this reason that the sequels aren't as popular and left many people confused. These two movies try to demonstrate a truth that the nature of the Matrix control goes far beyond a computer simulation. The system controls everything. Those who have thought to awaken to the truth are actually another part of the false reality. Not only are they a part of this system, but are unintentionally helping it. Neo's philosophy, his archetype, is that of the chosen one, the savior. In human history, there have been multiple archetypes that fulfill this role. The most famous being Jesus Christ, which was an inspiration for the Neo character. Neo is surrounded by Christian symbolisms. His lover is named Trinity, which is a reference to the Christian God. His abilities to ascend to the heavens and his resurrection are all obvious references to the story of Jesus. The resistance hopes and prayers for the chosen one to come and save them, to free them from the Matrix. When Neo was introduced, we can hear his client calling him his personal savior, his Jesus Christ. These comparisons are found in all three films. But in the second and third film, the truth is revealed, and that is that the concept of the savior is just another system of control. The machines have created their own enemy, a controlled dissidence. Controlled dissidence works as follows. Imagine that you are under the control of a dictatorship, which the people hate and want to overthrow. This government knows that it has enemies, that a revolution will occur to try and remove them from power. They anticipate it. Thus, they create a false resistance group to fight against the government while hiding the fact that they work for said government. They grow and channel all that hatred all the desires of the population to overthrow the leaders, while simultaneously deflecting the fall of the established system. They will lead the opposition or resistance against the government in the fight for freedom, but in actuality, they are a part of the manipulation tactic, similar to the character of Cypher in the first Matrix film. And if any government changes occur, the people will think that they have won, that they have beaten the system that has oppressed them, just like the inhabitants of the city of Zion at the end of Matrix 3. But the same system continues to control, manipulating everything that happens, increasing their power. This is why many countries change their leaders often, so that the real change cannot occur. The same system is maintained. It is not uncommon to see politicians with extreme ideals come into power. People want to believe that they can change the country, yet they are there to simply maintain and protect the status quo. In the case of the Matrix, the savior was just a part of their controlled dissidents. Neo unknowingly was an eventual failure envisioned by the architect, used to keep the humans hopeful, thinking someone would save them without knowing that Neo was part of the Matrix code. Zion was also a part of the system created by the architect. In Neo's own words, no one told him, or no one knew. But what does all this mean? Many of those who think that they have awakened to reality, that they have seen the invisible threats of the government, could actually be a part of the controlled system, being fed misinformation, fairy tales even, stories to further deviate from the reality, following false saviors. In human history, there are many cases of governments sending misinformation to manipulate the population, creating rebels believing that they are fighting against the system when they are actually a part of it. So stop for a moment and ask yourself if your fight against the system is really being effective, because you could just be another part of the system that believes to have been awakened. The Matrix Reloaded and the Matrix Revolution depicts this notion of these invisible forces that we think we are fighting against, but are actually helping. We may live in an illusion, a lie created before our eyes, a myth of change, of freedom that may never come. Maybe another red pill is needed to wake us up to the revelation that the previous red pill was actually part of the system that controls us. Do those who think they are fighting the system are nothing more than puppets, controlled and manipulated? Or is there still hope? For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.